Today we got to talk about Khyree Jackson, who has committed to Alabama, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on step milk. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Khyree Jackson becoming the second prospect to commit to Alabama on this Saturday, and they are the number 2 ranked recruiting class in the country, following Ohio State, closing the gap to about, we're on like 11 points here. And how the JUCO rankings factor in is a little bit different, but safe to say they got one of the best junior college prospects in America and the number 1 cornerback in the class at 6'3" and about 200 pounds. Khyree Jackson has the ability to play 3 different positions: outside corner, safety, and what I think he's going to do is play the star. In that way, I believe Alabama has found its star, and the star is the nickel in Alabama's scheme. When they go regular 3-4, they go to their money, which is their combination of 6 defensive backs versus whatever their package is going to see, but they're going to see a lot of nickel. And the reason I believe that they found that guy is because he's so big. His finalists included Oregon and Alabama and Oklahoma, among others, coming out of East Mississippi Community College in Scuba. You'll remember them as the first place that Last Chance U took notice, and I know of them because I grew up in Hattiesburg, and LaColton Bester also came out of Scuba to Oklahoma and still has the highest quarterback rating in Oklahoma Sooners history. Yeah, I just went there because I was at that game at Kansas where he had the throwback, and it was spectacular. It was awesome. And it also continues this trend of Nick Saban just laughing at us, okay? Like, 4 of the last 10 national championships have been won by Alabama. Going back to 2009, there has not been a more dominant program. And every year, I think it's time to catch up with Nick Saban. Nick Saban says, watch this. Ranked at number 55 in recruiting in the 2021 cycle in April, and then goes on an absolute tear. Ajay Hall, Ja'Cory Brooks, J.C. Latham, Tommy Brockermeyer, James Brockermeyer. Deontay Lawson was the only dude that he had to lean on. Like, it was dire for Alabama in February as the quarterback commit that they had, Drake May, flipped to North Carolina. Now, this is the number 2 ranked class in the country without a quarterback. That's bonkers to me because, number 1, you usually have to have a quarterback in the class committed and a top quarterback at that particular point committed to have a top 5 recruiting class or any shot at one. And not only have they not done that, they are looking like they really want to flip Jalen Milroe. Now, when I talk to him, he doesn't even see it that way. He's committed to Texas, and he likes the opportunities presented to him at Texas, and he noted what kind of a business school they are, and he wants to open his own facility that could act as a sports complex where you have soccer, you have basketball, you have football, you have this great big indoor and outdoor complex that he wants to run. So that's number 1. Number 2 is what happens if they do get that quarterback? Can they actually close the gap on Ohio State? Yeah, they can. Because we're talking about Ohio State that just lost to Mise Adeleye in a decommitment at a time when Ohio State is not scheduled to play any football in the fall, and Alabama's still scheduled to begin playing football on September 26th. And Barton Simmons had the evaluation of one Khyree Jackson where he actually had a nice comparison to him. He had him compared to Drake Kirkpatrick, which I thought was wild, interesting. So naturally, I wanted to know more about what Barton saw. And what he had to say was he projects him as a 2nd, 3rd round draft pick, day 2 guy. Tall, long, thin-framed cornerback prospect, significant high school experience at wide receiver, developed top-end ball skills, adept at making plays out of cover 2, both in his ability to jump underneath out-breaking routes and in his diagnosis of the screen game as an aggressive tackler. Shows patience in man coverage, revealing confidence in speed and athleticism, and has natural feel and timing, making plays on the ball. Demeanor and willingness as a tackler, it's huge, are what you want at that quarterback spot. Ability to play in the alley and physicality in space offer up versatility to get safety snaps. This is what I'm talking about, the star position. Junior college film doesn't offer a lot of insight into long speed, appears to have the most experience as a zone corner, but does show the traits to excel in press man. One of the top junior college prospects in the country, and a player we project to be an NFL draft pick at corner, potentially in the mid to early rounds. Now, what he's talking about is a zone corner. I think I need to unpack here. So at Oklahoma, we had a guy whose name's Jordan Thomas. And you know Jordan Thomas as the guy who set the 3-cone drill record at the NFL Combine. When you put Jordan Thomas into cover 2 situations as a corner, he excelled. He was outstanding at that. But being a zone corner means that you really get to pass off any route that goes beyond 7 yards, quite honestly, because most of your routes are going to go beyond 7 yards vertically. Now, you also get to pass it off when you go into a slant, right? Because cover 2, you're going to expect that linebacker to try to play that curl on that flat to a degree, but also to fade back as the play continues to develop. Now, if you put that same corner into a cover 3 situation where you're playing single high safety over the top, you're exposing whether or not that corner has long speed to run with that wide receiver, because every route is his to a degree, and his past 15 yards, unless that is a post, by that time, you're still running downfield with that guy, and you got to have eyes and you got to feel for the game for whether or not you should keep running with him, or you're going to turn around and either try to make a tackle or jump another route to try to make a play on the ball. It's more difficult to play cover 3 and man. It just is, right? And when you try to throw pattern matching schemes in there, you really have to have great recognition, great trust, and great communication between your safeties. It's the other reason why I think that you found your star, right? Because that guy's basically a box player. Every now and again, you see a tight end that will try to challenge that star and run vertically up the seam to see if, 1, he's staying with him, 2, he's going to get passed off to a linebacker or a box safety, or 3, maybe he does have enough speed at that tight end position to really give that safety or nickel guy or linebacker a run for his money. It's why you're seeing such hybridity, I think I just made that word up, at the linebacker position, and why we say things like Isaiah Simmons is the future of football, because Isaiah Simmons destroys whatever offense you want to run. Either you want to try to put a wide receiver up against him that can outrun him, but he's got sub 4.4 speed, so that ain't going to happen. At 6'4", 230 pounds, he's long enough for anybody that you want to put up against him, like a tight end. And with that speed, you understand that he has great lateral quickness to run with anybody who might be what we call a pocket slot, right? Smaller guy that's more versatile and better at that capstone position, that slot position, like a Jalen Waddle, who you could outrun. So I think that Khyree Jackson fits in there. It's about whether or not he actually does have that long speed, and I'm betting that he does, because Pete Golden and Nick Saban want him. And they don't run a whole lot of cover 2 because there's not a whole lot of cause to run cover 2 in against the teams that they're going to see, because those teams are going to try to stretch the field. You're going to be in man most of the time, and you're going to try to dial up some exotic blitzes, and you're going to expect your defensive line to do a lot of the work up front for you to try to keep your linebackers clean, and you're going to ask your safeties and your corners to be able to run with those guys whenever possible, and I think that Khyree Jackson fits the mold for that. All right, that's it for me. Doses.